Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to look at a video put out by this person named Dr. Lisa Weideman. She was 15-year carnivore and optometric physician. I thought she was an ophthalmologist, but anyway, I used to be subscribed to her a couple of years ago, I guess, when I first started carnivore, and I unsubscribed not because I disliked her or she said anything evil or, there was nothing. It's just her. I am not a person that would be in her target audience because of the topics that she covered. Most of the time, I still would see her videos. I would watch her videos from time to time, but just not, as far as what I would digest on a regular basis. Because she did a lot of, if I remember correctly, she did a lot of cooking. There was a whole lot of cooking involved in her channel, which is great, and I actually seek that out from time to time now. But for the first couple of years, I was not interested in recipes and cooking and any of that stuff because, I'm a hunk of meat and I'm good. Now I kind of want to mix it up from time to time and find carnivore recipes. But back then, just it wasn't interesting to me. At the time, that's not what I was looking for. So, again, I don't really know too much about her outside of the recent controversy, I guess you would call it. She went away from carnivore and started eating carbs. And I guess she's still meat heavy. I don't really know exactly. I watched a recent video of hers, this one here, the big change, what has happened and what has changed. And this is where I think she announces that she's eating carbs or has been eating carbs because she gained weight. And I think, if I remember, she said something about her thyroid, but you can watch it for yourself. Just take it from her. Don't let me erroneously report on that because, I'm going on memory. But, there's this whole thing about people leaving to eat carbs again, or basically most people are still eating a lot of meat, but they're incorporating carbs in different ways or whatever. Again, I don't care. I don't care what anybody eats. It's like I do not give two flying shitolas about what you put in your mouth. The only reason I'm on here on YouTube and I have this channel is because what I did to actually heal all my medical conditions is just amazing and a miracle. And, I want to share it with people because there are probably a lot of people out there like me who are suffering and don't even know that you can change, your life with diet. So, but again, I've only been on carnivore for, it's been a while. It's been 3 years almost exactly. Actually, Thanksgiving, it'll be my 3-year carniversary. God, that's cringy. Did that come out of my mouth just now? Ugh, if you could just reach through the screen, just give me a good slap if I ever tell another dad joke like that. Anyway, so I'm getting off track again. But this recent video that she did, you guys probably seen this whole "You Will Be Shocked" video thing that she did. If not, you can go watch it. But she did one here that says, "The lies must stop. Since you're all talking about me, stop lying about my story." So, that sounds pretty rude. If everybody's lying about her, that kind of sucks. So I wanted to see what this was about, so I figured I would react to it. I haven't seen it, I haven't watched it, but I'm interested in what all the hubbub is about. So how about we take a look at it together? Oh, I'm doing a live stream with Dave Mack on Friday, so come check that out. That should be fun because it's Halloween. God knows what I'll show up looking like. You never know.
I want to address something directly, clearly, and calmly, because a lot of people are talking about me right now without actually talking to me. There are videos being made about why I gained weight after so many years on strict carnivore, why my fasting glucose and my A1C started drifting upward into the pre-diabetic range. And honestly, a lot of what's being said is just not true. Dr. Chafee yesterday stated as fact that Dr. Weideman has in fact added dairy, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol to her diet now, and he blames my weight gain and metabolic issues on that.
Okay, I got to stop this because that's my boy. You know, if you've watched this channel, that I love me some Dr. Chafee. And that's a double entendre. Anyway, okay, I'm not going there. But he's saying, so no, being on a carnivore diet is not telling the body that you are in a deep, dark winter and starving. I guess he's responding to whoever the heck this is. It tells your body that you are well fed and well nourished. If what you insane, or I guess it's a typo, or saying is true, then it would apply to everybody, or at least the vast majority of people, but it does not. The vast majority of people respond extremely well and continue to do well long term. I have been carnivore longer than you, and certainly Zane. Seems that he has never been carnivore and never done high fat, even when he moved in that direction. And so, if long term ketosis were the problem, I should be seeing those problems. Dr. Lisa Weideman has explicitly said, that's pretty definitive, that her thyroid and cortisol are perfect after 15 years, but she was gaining weight and thought it was some other metabolic issue. Or maybe it's the fact that she includes dairy, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol in her diet now. If I were a betting man, I would look at those first before I would look at ketosis. There are a lot of people pushing a low-fat carnivore diet, and that gets, and I can't see the rest of the, I don't know if this is I would say tweet, an X post, or whatever, or Instagram. I don't know. It looks like maybe Instagram. Who knows? Okay, so let's see what she says about that, because
So, number one, I did not fall off carnivore by adding dairy. I've coached thousands of people, and we all know the first thing we tell people with weight gains or stalls is to remove all dairy. Do you really think while I'm struggling for the past 6 years that behind the scenes I'm stuffing down cheese and heavy whipping cream and wondering why I'm gaining weight? Do you think the first thing I eliminated may have obviously been dairy? And the irony is, Dr. Chafee, that I actually included dairy in my first 10 successful years of carnivore. Number two, there was no adding artificial sweeteners and alcohol to my diet. Again, where do you think my stupidity?
She's doing better than me. I have a problem with stevia sometimes. Well, not a problem. I want to get off of it, because I believe actually with the sweeteners, and this is going a little bit off topic, but it's related. I think with the sweeteners, like, it does tell a part of your brain, hey, there's sugars incoming, and then when nothing shows up, kind of like, I think that's a little bit of a problem, like eating sweeteners. But at the end of the day, like I say, Rome wasn't built in a day, or 3 years for that matter, because I'm still drinking coffee here and there. I have the stevia, and then I also drink tea. Ugh. Those are terrible. Like, I mean, coffee's bad because, my God, I mean, 2 of the chemicals in it are putrescine and cadaverine. I swear, as all that is holy, that is actually 2 of the names of the chemicals in the actual coffee. But it's named after, cadaver and putrid, like, for real. But I still drink it sometime. I love coffee. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I even put heavy cream in it. But again, for reasons that are not, it's not perfect, but, I'm trying to kind of drift away from those things, because I know that they're not a really good idea. But anyway, what the hell does that have to do with what we were watching? I don't know. I had a long day today at work, so I'm a little bit scattered.
Stupidity level is that I would be struggling with my weight and drink wine every night. And I've not had any artificial sweeteners in the 16 years of carnivore. So please stop saying.
Oh, she said something. There's a little note. She's got little notes at the bottom that come up. Okay. Only now, after adding carbs, because like we said, she added carbs and had that announcement video. I have added my favorite morning routine, that is lemon. Morning routine electrolyte, that is lemon, the vinegar, and some stevia. Okay. So now she's incorporating sweeteners and stuff. But again, like, in my opinion, if you're going to have a sweetener, stevia is the one that seemed the safest to me out of all of them. And again, I don't think that any of them are a good idea, but neither are a lot of things. I did get away from those freaking coffee pods, though. Those dang pods, because my son was looking at them one day, and again, I'm a chemist. I really should have understood this, and I knew I had read a little bit about it, but I mean, they're like, when you put those plastic pods in there, and the water heats up like to boiling hot. I know good and dang well I can put Vegas money on the fact that we are getting microplastics from those stupid K-cups. So what I did, since I know that I'm going to periodically drink coffee, and I kind of use it as a tool, a lot of times I'll do coffee fast and I can put butter in it and get some extra fat here and there. It's just kind of a good vehicle for, fats or MCT oil. But, like I said, that's pretty much what I do that's off the beaten path for carnivore. But I got stainless steel holder for like coffee, and you can actually get better coffee that's not as bad as the ones that are in K-cups. You can get a better quality coffee and put it in a little stainless steel thing and put it in your Keurig, and you don't have to suck up all the microplastics, which is a really good thing. So just a quick tip if you're going to drink coffee or whatever. But as far as stevia goes, like stevia, I think is a safer of everything. And there's a whole rabbit hole, and we could spend a whole hour. Maybe I'll do an actual thing on why I picked stevia as a chemist, why I looked into it and why that's the one I chose. Even though I don't believe I should be eating it at all. Because, there is a phenomenon I'm going to talk about in another video where you start eating sweeteners and you need more and more and more for it to taste as sweet. So actually, I have already started phasing out stevia, but that's a different video. But I will go into that because I think it's interesting information. But okay, we'll keep going here.
Sweeteners in the 16 years of carnivore. So please stop saying that's why my body started to struggle. That's absolutely artificial sweeteners.
Okay, wait a minute. Did she say she never had artificial sweeteners before she went? Because I missed that.
The level is that I would be struggling with my weight and drink wine every night. And I've not had any artificial sweeteners in the 16 years of carnivore.
Oh, that's impressive.
So please stop saying that's why my body started to struggle. That's absolutely false. Please come tell me.
Now, when she said artificial sweeteners, like, does she include stevia in that, or like allulose or something? I don't know. I don't know enough about her, but I just wonder if she meant that literally, or if she was saying she never touched any kind of sweeteners for 16 years, because that's pretty dedicated if you never ever use sweeteners at all for that long.
Straight to my face that after 10 great successful years of eating strict carnivore, that I'm now doing it wrong the past 6 years and causing myself metabolic dysfunction and weight gain, as you're inferring from your comment. Here's really what actually happened. And I'm saying this as someone who did strict, no compromise carnivore for 16 years. For the first 10 years, it worked beautifully for me. My weight was stable. I felt fantastic. My labs were great. I've never once denied that carnivore can be incredibly therapeutic because I lived that. But in the last 6 years, following that exact same approach, same food, same rules, still strict, I started gaining weight. The scale was creeping up. My morning glucose was creeping up. My A1C was creeping up into pre-diabetic territory, and I was doing perfect carnivore. That alone should make people pause. Because the story is not Lisa lost discipline. The story is something changed and I needed to figure it out. And here's the part some of you are really not going to like. What finally started moving me back in the right direction, down in weight and slowly down in glucose, was the opposite of what the hardcore carnivore police keep yelling. I very intentionally reintroduced some whole food carbohydrates. Not junk, not trigger foods, not sugar binges. I am a former severe binge eater.
I don't know, is it just me or is everybody hearing this thing where they're basically wanting you to have a 50 glucose all the time or a 60 glucose or something? I mean, I don't think that's the way it works. You know what I mean? I think it can be different, depending on how long you fasted or how long, what you've eaten, what kind of food you're eating, all this kind of stuff. But everybody's talking about high glucose, and they're like, well, they're seeing a 90 glucose, like it's super high. And I don't know that it is that. And again, our physiology, as carnivores, we look different than everybody else. So just food for thought, man, food for thought, But when she talks about her lab test, or had talked about her lab test in her previous, discussions or whatever, I mean, she knows what her body has been like, or what, her parameters have been for a long time. So she would know what her body needs the best. So I'm not second guessing anything she's saying, but I do think that we need to think in terms of our metabolic state in context, in context of when you're looking at whatever it is you're looking at, and also the fact that we do not fit into this paradigm anymore. We can't even get a physician half the time that's not going to like break us over the coals for eating meat. So, it's just it's a different set of circumstances we have to deal with. And the normal values, I don't think the normal values are normal for healthy people. First of all, I have a lot of problems with the normal ranges. First of all, they just lowered the blood pressure ranges again so that they can prescribe more blood pressure medication to more people. So,
and I take that seriously. I reintroduced controlled strategic carbohydrates, and I simultaneously started lowering my dietary fat. Because at some point, you have to stop repeating dogma and actually look at what your body is doing. This is not me quitting carnivore. This is me refusing to ignore real data from my own metabolism just to fit inside a narrative or stay loyal to a label. I want to say one more thing, because this part honestly does.
And you shouldn't. You should always be honest about the reasons you do things and what you want to do. And it's like it's her body, it's her life. She can eat whatever she wants to. Seize the day, man.
Really irritate me. If you're going to make a comment or a video using my name and my story, you should have the decency and respect to reach out to me first and ask me directly. None of the people pushing these narratives and passing along the lies have spoken to me. Not one of you messaged me and said, "Hey, is this true?" You just filled in your own version and hit send.
That's important. Like, so when I'm commenting on what people are doing, I don't ever assume I know what they're thinking. I'm not going to, I joke around a lot with different topics, but I'm never going to say that I know what you believe or how you feel, because I don't, honestly. I think these people who are leaving carnivore, I think it's extremely important to look into what's going on and why, because you can learn a lot, because these are people who've been, well, in her case, she's been on carnivore for 16 freaking years. That's a long time, so her experiences are valuable. If people are giving her hate and stuff, that's not cool. That's not nice. I save all of my hate for people like Michael Savage. And I don't hate Michael Savage either, but God dang, he made it so easy to freaking that was low hanging fruit, man. I'm telling you, like, you gotta, if you hadn't watched my critique of him, he was going hard on carnivores, and he was not nice at all. So, sometimes you gotta push back. But in this case, it's like people being hateful or saying nasty things about her. It's like, you know.
Meanwhile, I'm over here doing the actual work, tracking macros, looking at protein, fat, and carbs, watching what happens to my body in real time, and helping the other 2,500 people who reached out to me saying they're dealing with the same thing as me and are also stalled or also gaining weight. Also seeing glucose go the wrong direction on perfect carnivore, being told it's their fault. So here's my bottom line. If carnivore
I'm interested again in what people think a high glucose is, and this goes back to it's not that they're making a mountain out of a molehill or something like that. I'm not saying that. I'm very interested in why these glucose, why people are looking at these glucose values thinking they're off the chart or something, because where did that come from exactly? Like, who's determining that? You know what I mean? Like the dawn phenomenon, like the fact that our body is supposed to wake us up and our glucose goes up in the mornings. that's a normal process, but there's a lot of people talking about that, and if like it's not this super super low level, they're saying it's like detrimental. I don't know, like I don't know what her values were, but I'd be interested to, if they publish these results of like, well, every day, I woke up and my glucose was 112 or something. I don't know, like what are the values and what's the data? I would be interested to see that, if she ever does a video publishing what it was doing and what it is now. Maybe she has, and again, I just don't follow her. There's so many people that are in the carnivore space, and there's so much that interests me. I don't have enough time in the day to actually watch a lot of these. It just would be, it'd be interesting to know what her symptoms were specifically.
What's working for you? Amazing. I will cheer that on all day long. But if you're gaining weight or you're creeping toward pre-diabetic numbers, and you're being told just tighten up and carnivore harder and eat only fat and beef and salt, and if you've tried it all and you're still not losing, then you're told you're doing it wrong. Just like Dr. Chafee clearly scolded me here in this comment for not doing carnivore correctly. It's because we're weak or we're lying. I'm here to tell you that is not the full story and is the reason why I want.
I don't. I got to kind of defend my boy here. I don't think he was being nasty. I mean, I could reread it again, but I don't think he was being hateful or nothing. I think he honestly believes that she was eating that stuff, and he honestly believes that that would cause, weight problems. You know what I mean? And I think it does too. I think that, I actually did an experiment. I proved that heavy cream makes you fat. And it's like interesting to look at why that's the case, but it definitely does make you put the pounds on, because I cannot drink too much heavy cream. Now I still do, but I had to back off. Like I have to like make myself back off, so um but it sounded like to me he just thought that you did eat those things, or you were currently eating those things. So maybe he was just giving his opinion on why he felt like it might be something else. I mean, if nobody really knows for sure and you're doing this experimenting thing, because I don't think he strikes me as kind of a nice person. Like he's pretty mild mannered, so I don't think maybe he meant it that way. But again, like, I mean, I know it can't feel really good. People are discussing you. I mean, I'm discussing you right now. I'm trying to be very, very pleasant, because I mean, I don't care what you eat, but it's interesting to discuss because this is a big community of people who are all, trying to find the healthiest version of themselves. So, but I'll just say for Chafee's part, I don't think he meant to insult you. But again, I know that internet's a rough place. It's a wild west out here. So,
Wanted to tell the truth of what's been happening to me. You are not broken. You might just need a different macro strategy than the one that worked 5 years ago. This is metabolic reality. It's not betrayal. And if that upsets people who make content for a living, that's fine. My job is not to keep someone else's narrative comfortable. My job is to get people healthy. And I have to say, I fully intend on removing myself from this ongoing back and forth. I don't know if we want to call it a turf war. I thought this was going to be an open conversation and that people would actually really, truly take an interest in what's occurred, what my reality has been. But like I said, not a single person has reached out. And all I can say is that I feel fabulous. I feel like my little pivot here has just done me a world of good.
well, that's good. I mean, that's all that matters is as far as you as a person. I mean, you have to find out what works for you. And, if I was to introduce carbs, like I know exactly what that would feel like. I'd feel like dog crud, but that's me. I was talking to somebody recently about something that I want everybody to think about that's really weird. When I was actually in my 20s, I ate garbage food all the time. and I was like 105 pounds or something like that. And I'm 5'8". Okay. And back in the day, like, I don't know if you remember Twiggy, like in the I guess it was 70s or whatever. Like, you remember what models used to look like? You know, used to look like these little, malnourished, like prepubescent boys, you know? Well, that was me. I looked like that. And I actually was a model. And somebody was saying about steak and butter gal and it was somebody that made a comment, and he wasn't being mean or nothing, but he was saying, I feel like she's not telling the truth because of the amount of calories that she ingests, and there's no way she would be that thin if she ingested all of those basically all of the food, because I don't watch exactly, I don't do her what I eat in a day thing. I don't watch that, but I watched a lot of her cooking stuff or whatever. But he was saying there's no way that she can, and he said he was a personal trainer. He's like, there's no way she can consume all that, so she has to be lying. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? 105 pounds in my 20s. I would go and get, and this is embarrassing, I would go and get a container of that Betty Crocker frosting. You know, Crisco. It's Crisco food coloring and freaking sugar, powdered sugar, all mixed together like in it. Powdered sugar has a lot of cornstarch in it, so it's the most horrible concoction imaginable that you're going to eat, right? I'd eat the whole thing. I'd sit there with a spoon and I would eat the whole thing. And then I would go to McDonald's and I would get whatever I wanted. I mean, you're talking about that jar or container of frosting was 1,400 calories, okay? And I would go and I would eat 3 times. I would eat like a horse, and I never gained a pound. I was thin as a rail for years. People, when I was modeling, like years ago, it used to drive people crazy because they were literally like starving themselves, and I was eating like a tub of frosting, literally. Wouldn't gain a pound. I didn't have any health issues either, which is remarkable, but I mean, I was young. So my sister, however, okay, she literally couldn't even look at anything sweet because she would gain weight just looking at it. And she had a huge problem with her weight. She was overweight like her entire life. We lived in the same household, and I would eat, the same food as her, growing up. And ever since I was young, like I never had a problem, but she had a problem even when she was younger with weight. So those are 2 different people with 2 different responses. And, it's just interesting to me that no one knows why that is. I don't care. And, depending on what point you're trying to prove, like people would say, well, it's because of, this and that and blah, 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 and gut microbiome, all these nerdy freaking theories. Nothing goes up my butt like a rocket as to hear a bunch of people sit around and talk about all these scientific metabolic pathways and stuff. And like, I think it's this and I think it's that. When the end of the day, it's like, you don't know. It's interesting to talk about some of this, like, to talk about it and go, well, it could be this or it could be that. And you kind of throw out the theories. But at the end of the day, they don't know why my sister gained weight just looking at food and I was a rail. Okay, something about the way our bodies work differently, something about how we're made differently. Okay, there's differences between the 2 of us, Now, I do know now that if she would have eaten meat, if she would have eaten carnivore diet, she would have lost weight and, she would have felt better. I think she had a decent amount of inflammation when she was growing up too. But she didn't have any medical conditions. She wasn't diagnosed with medical conditions or anything. So it's just very weird. And we have to remember, we don't know everything. We don't understand everything. And you're probably not going to in a lot of cases. You can't answer all the questions. All the mysteries cannot be solved, not completely. So that's just something like when I've seen Dr. Weideman, I saw some of that, some of the Lane or Zane or whoever he is, like fitness dude, and he's basically saying that you have to eat carbohydrates, and if you don't, it's going to make you unhealthy or unwell. And I think that statement should not be made because he can't prove it. And a lot of what he said was incorrect, like him, and I'm not talking about her, but like he was saying certain things that were not true or not clear, at least. So I think you have to be careful about, when you're looking at this and you're deciding to make a decision, but you're using science to back yourself up, but really the science isn't settled. You can give your theories. I mean, if that's what you believe, it's what you believe, because there's a lot we don't know, and you can look and evaluate a situation and go, well, I think this is the most likely reason for whatever it is you're looking at. But it's just interesting that's a thing. My sister being overweight and me being real thin and coming from the same parents, living in the same house. Later in life, it catches up with you, and it did catch up with me. But that's just something interesting to think about. And you've known people like this, probably. You've known people who were like super skinny and they could eat anything they wanted and they never gained a pound. It's very weird and freaky, and it's like it's interesting. It's very interesting to try to, theorize on why that is. But anyway, let's continue.
And just like when I first found Carnivore, I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. And that's how I feel now. I'm not here to deter anybody off of your carnivore path. And that's the one thing that really made me sit back for a moment before I talked at all about any of this, is because I did not want to put out more conflicting information than that's already out there. It's already so hard trying to sort through everything that is in front of us. And now to add one more, that's the last thing I wanted to do. But I felt it was important, and I'm so glad I did. Because like I said, I have really, truly connected with so many amazing people who have reached out thanking me for being open and honest and genuine. And I only wish that I didn't feel the negativity that I feel right now in this community. We're all here for helping each other. We all are trying to achieve optimal health. We all are trying to figure out what actually is the proper human diet. And maybe the proper diet is a different diet than at another point. And if you get to the point where you're at that crossroad and you need to pivot, you need to have resources, you need to have information. I hope I can be an inspiring story. So no matter where you're at on your journey to optimal health, just know that there is information out there. There are people out here who truly do care and truly do want to help. And if you'd like more information and guidance and support,
So she's got a group now called Stop the Stall group. So I guess that she's trying to guide other people who are stalled in weight, I would imagine, with her diet plan. So
information and guidance and support, I would be so happy to have you reach out to me. And I will leave a link below of where you can join together with a whole group of us who are on this path and trying to figure out what is the best way to move forward and not be dogmatic.
You know what's interesting is that she doesn't call herself keto. Like, this is just go with me here. Is that now that I'm thinking about it, like, why didn't she say I'm gonna have to go ketovore, or I'm gonna move to the keto diet? So I'm imagining that the stuff that maybe the carbs she's introducing are some particular type of carbs. If anybody knows, put it in comments, because I don't have the time to. I have a pretty stressful day job. I don't have the time to like watch everything, but I'd be interested. Why doesn't she just say she's? Is she? I guess she's not. I guess she's not legitimately keto. Like it's more carbs. Is it like Paul Saladino carbs? Like, because I think he eats like a decent amount, like what, 100, 200 carbs a day or something.
I am just going to put out here that unless there are further outright blatant lies that are specifically connected to my name, I will not be responding or replying to any back and forth about this topic.
I'm editing a reply video I recorded last week, and we'll post that last commentary on this topic very soon. Okay.
I want to move forward in such a positive way. I want to feel that there is a place for you to connect if you're having similar issues. So I will leave a link. There's a whole group of us gathering together for support and information, and I will do everything that I can to help get you on the way, get you on the path.
Dang, did somebody actually take her carnivore card? Because she's like, I mean, I don't know, maybe she's getting a lot of hate or whatever, but like she seems to be very traumatized or something. I don't know. It's like do people really care this much about what she eats? I mean, it seems a little stupid. I mean, it's like, I mean, not she's stupid. I'm saying that she needs stress relieving breaths for her cortisol. I don't. Okay. I don't get that, but I think she was just poking fun here. But it sounds like she's talking about like two cults or something. Like, does that not sound like what she's talking about? She's talking about like I have been exiled and shunned, and like she's had to wander in the wilderness, and she met a bunch of straggly people along the way, and they all made a group, and they've created a new a commune or something. Like, it just sounds so sad and like she's been kicked out of something. I mean, is that really what's going on? Or people just hating her guts? I know I'm Gen X, but crap, you know, it's like, am I that like out of the loop or something?
Whatever you say, boomer. Okay.
I don't know. I don't read her comments, so maybe she's getting tons of hate and she got her feelings hurt and all this kind of stuff, I guess. Oh, it's just interesting.
All right. So I said a lot here, probably more than I actually intended to or wanted to. I'm going to lay this to rest unless there is any further outright blatant lies connected directly to my name. I want to move in a positive direction. I feel so much joy and I feel so good. And I feel even better knowing that I've connected with so many of you who can relate to where I'm at. And I cannot wait to join together in with you and help you. So I'm going to leave the link if you want to come into a group where we are focusing on health.
And I think, didn't it say like she's one of the carb addicts, right? Like she had food addictions, I'm thinking. So that's also interesting to me because I had food addiction problems, and one of the reasons I stay away from carbohydrates, one of them, again, I'm a chafeite. I believe that plants are trying to kill you, but another reason that I stay away from plants is because, like, if I was to eat potatoes, like I'd binge them. You know, I'd binge eat potatoes. I can binge eat ribeyes. I don't for the most part. I have eaten too much before, and you can't eat too much on carnivore where you're making yourself sick. And a lot of you will say, no, you can't. You can't eat too much on carnivore, but you actually can. And I'm talking about where you're just, you know what I'm saying? Like you got some stuff going on in there and you just, for whatever reason, like cram food in your mouth. kind of thing. And then you end up nauseous and all this kind of stuff. Because your body would tell you when to stop if you just eat until you were hungry. I have never had to like cut back on my calories or minimize what I'm eating or just eat tiny portions. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being a psychopath and like cramming food down your throat because you have this incessant need to cram food down your throat. Because I love freaking ribeyes and burgers and butter and all this stuff. I can abuse it. I can eat too much, where I feel like I'm literally going to vomit. Okay. I can do that. It rarely ever happens, but it can happen. I know it can happen. And I have to like tell myself, what are you doing? Why are you shoving that down your throat when you don't want it? Okay. I have to have discussions with myself to make sure that doesn't happen. So, but that's just me. But whenever I talk about overeating on carnivore, I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about somebody looking at you and comparing you to like what other people would eat or something. Or I'm not talking about calorie restriction or something like that. That's not at all what I'm talking about. So, but it'd be interesting to hear her journey afterwards. Now that she's incorporating carbs, because if she is a carb addict, which I think she had said either a food addict or she had a problem with food. So, because I don't know, there's a lot to learn here because she might find when she's doing this, like at first she feels good, but if she for some reason goes back to her bingey ways, and I'm guessing she was a binger. Again, I don't know if she was or not, but like if that was the case, like it was in my case, she might find it harder to deal with the binging, and she might have to cycle in and out or something, or kind of adjust whatever she's eating. But it'll be interesting to see.
Focusing on happiness, and I hope to see you there.
Girl. I'm not going to say anything about her dance moves, okay? I'm not going to say a word. I don't know how old she is. It'd be interesting to see how old she is. I'm 58, so I don't know if she's in her 50s or 60s or what. But, she's obviously got a lot of energy. She's bouncing around like like she's 20, so that's good. But anyway, so this was just an open discussion of her video. Basically, I don't know, just the whole thing of her sounding like a nomad who's left into went off into the egg, like, you are banished, kind of like Highlander, and he's like wandering around, he's got the pole and everything, and he comes across people that help him, and then they make a little thing. I don't, it's just, it sounded so, I don't know, sad, and like she's getting that much hate for real. And now she started a new community where she can be accepted. This is like the most dramatic like set of circumstances. Is it not super dramatic? Is it just me, or are you not getting those vibes? I feel bad for her, if that's the case. Like, she's been chased out of her home. It's like, I don't know, 16 years is a long time to be a carnivore, so who the hell knows what's going to happen. But it's interesting to look at, that's for sure. But we should get a lot of really good data out of this. Like, hey, a lot of people who are like, well, how come, like, I used to follow her and I'm really angry, like, now she's not a carnivore or whatever. I've heard people kind of say things like that about some of these influencers. But you should be happy, like, because you know why? Because, like, you don't have to do this. Like, if you have somebody that's like trying out new things, you know how it feels when you try out new things and they suck, and then you feel terrible. Like anytime you fell off the wagon and you're like, oh man, that taught me that I need to not ever do that again. But you might get some really good data from this. Like, so she's kind of like being a guinea pig, right now. And I think she said as much as like, she's trying to do different things and see how it works for her. I don't know. Maybe you look at it that way. But anyway, I know this has been rambly. Leave it to me to be rambly. But Let me know what your comments are. I want to know what you think about all this. I'm very interested in talking to you guys because I got to tell you that one of the best things about YouTube is the comment section. It is awesome. Even when somebody's calling me some kind of a shill and saying that, I'm deluded or delusional or crazy or whatever, I still even like talking to people like that. Even people who think that, because it's just very interesting. It really is. It's interesting to hear everybody's stories and get all of this feedback and discuss all these topics, because I really think this whole space of nutrition, it's one of the most mysterious, like mystical subjects. It really is, because the variables cannot be controlled and there's no way for science to really nail down the course of action, so it's up to us to try to figure it out. So we're like explorers, you know what I mean? Like we're figuring all this out as we go. And to me, like when I found carnivore, it's like finding the fountain of youth or something. It's crazy. I feel like the clock wound back, and actually when I was in my 20s, I didn't feel this good. It's crazy. I'm 58 years old and I just feel like I can do just about anything. My next move is to actually start working out and get better muscle tone and stuff, because, gravity is a bitch, let me tell you. So that's one thing it didn't do anything about, is that just in general, where you're all nice and toned and, and then you, as the years go by, it all, kind of just droops a little, which sucks, but need to get that muscle tone going. So that's my next phase of this whole fixing my health thing. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm very interested. And if you like the video, if you could give me a like, that'd be great. And if you actually want to subscribe, that would be great too. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.